Hello, welcome. I am Zodiac, welcome. Today is very a different day today. What I mean by different, it's basically the way of how it is. You know, how your emotions are switching. Yeah, I'm having one of those bad days where, things can go from a way of how you can understand of how it is. I know it's very out of character, but what I'm saying is that, whenever you spend time with your friends, you spend time with your friends. But when you're sitting at a cafe shop, for example, and you're there and then you're seeing your friends, all of a sudden you're sitting by yourself at a table. You're sitting by yourself at a table, and then no one doesn't see you, no one doesn't, say hi, how are you? No one be able to play cards with you and whatnot. I know it's kind of like out of my character to say this, but whenever you are in the way of your friends and it's a shameful thing to do, right? It's like avoiding, right? Every time you get that void and you get that feeling about getting a void of having it, like you're not speaking to each other, you like to avoid each other, first and foremost, and then plus exactly of blocking and everything else, and yes, that's actually bad character, but whenever you having this emotion switch, from happy, angry, pissed off, whatever it is, you're having that bad day of character. It's the simplest way that you have to understand that way. It's almost like a give and take situation, right? You have to impose a situation, you have to embrace of what's happening, you understand the ins and outs of it. But when things can go from a different way, you enjoy that settlement, that wave, that gravitation, right? And you have to know exactly what's happening and who's doing this and what's going on. And you see that as a gradual picture. You know, this is why when I do a tarot situation like this, even if I'm a Scorpio, it happens to that situation. If every one of my viewers gets the same emotions, yeah, you see how it is. It's very very bad of how it is, right? It's that unpractical situation where yes, you had a good day, but then not really, you know. It's like you're asking yourself, saying, what's the point for me going out? What's the point, right? So that's how I'm saying. So we're going to start with a reading that I never normally do this, but we're going to see how this reading goes. And so understanding about how that is, and we believe about how that system way of how it is, knowing that understand about how our weaknesses, our not our strengths, and then I'll do the tarot situation. I have the three decks of a tarot situation to understand of what's happening through a different layout, a different way, and we see how we're going to do this as long as we need to. So, you know, in that recommend in that way, in that aspect, we believe about how we're going to do this as long as I need to, knowing about what's happening through that stage, that system, and understanding about how it's going to be selective. And this is how it is. All right, so let's get started. So let's see what we have on the first one. We have happiness. I'm aware that being happy means that I'm on the right path. That's how it is for me. I had a happy day today. I had a happiness during this morning. I had a good time. Second one is balance. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. Now you're balancing, right? So now you're balancing between happiness and being pissed off and being annoyed and all that. Last one, we have worry. I am learning that worry doesn't change an outcome. That's how it is, right? That's how it seems to be because I worry about what's happening through this whole entire situation where, worry is like basically like almost a negative feeling, right? It's that simple, that way of how it is. And, it's that simple, right? Because we believe in our own way of how everything is. You have to believe what's happening through a very wise decision, and that's how it seems to be. So, by the way of how this is how it's going to be, okay? Now we know exactly happiness, balance, worry. See, now we know about those. We're thinking, okay, everything seems to be fine. Yes, they are. But let's see our own graphication of how it goes. Now we know the basics. Now we know exactly how it is. I'll do one card on one side, I'll do the other card on one side, and then we're going to see between this tarot over here, and then we're going to see. So, the Seven of Pentacles, that represents that you lose everything. You lose your career, you lose everything that you wanted. Now on the right side you have the Tower that is upright. So now you're having chaos. Now chaos is a negative feeling as we can speak, right? Now you get the feeling where yeah everything seems to be fine, but now you know what's the opposite of this card and what's the opposite of this card. Now we know exactly these are the two tarot that I'm going to subscribe. So we're going to do that opposite and we're going to do this opposite. This one over here by the Seven of Pentacles reversed is Queen of Earth, thoughtful, creative, warm, sensible. And make time for those around you. Take a sensible approach. Deal with challenges in a kind and understanding manner. So now this represents Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. Okay, so now you know that's the opposite of the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, now we know what's the opposite of the chaos. The King of Cups reversed. Yeah, see, that's how it is, right? So now you used to be the king, but now you're not. Okay, now we know that this is a very different situation. So now we have to figure out what's the middle of here. What's the opposite of this middle of the King of Cups reversed? The Nine of Cups is upright. Okay, so now you understand that things can go from a different way. Okay, so now you know that this is an earth sign and this is a water sign. If you're Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, you're an earth sign. If Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, you're water sign as the cups. So you have that balance. You have that way of how it is. Now you know exactly how it seems to be. But this is not over yet. We're gonna continue. Now we know exactly how this is. Now we understand this. Now we have to be believing about our own steps and our own reality of how it is. Okay, so we know how it is. This one on the left side, Four of Water is missing an opportunity, discontentment, or boredom. Open your eyes to the possibilities. So this represents Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio on your left side. On the right side, you have the Strength reverse. Now, didn't I say about our weaknesses and our low strengths? Yes, it is, right? So now we have no strength, okay? Now we know that there's a battle going on. Now, a battle is between, a good side and a bad side, right? You have that way of knowing about what's happening between the two, right? What's going on from the bad side, what's going on from the good side, and you know about that. The GB, right? That's what it stands for, good and bad. And you know that concept of, yes, you're being blamed about all your emotions. Yes, you're being blamed about sitting at a cafe shop, coffee shop, and you're sitting there all alone, and you have all these different strangers who are looking at you saying, why your friends are not playing with you, why are you being alone, why you're you have that wise decision of what you're going to do next. And this is how the cards are gonna be forming, right? This is what I'm trying to explain about my day to everyone who are my fans out there. This is how it seems to be. So, you know, I'm missing an opportunity, right, to be with friends and all that. The strength card reverse. I have no strength right now. Like I'm weak right now, which means I have no strength right now. I'm having a disrupted day, and that's how it seems to be. And this is why it is a very, very non-realistic decision. And that's how it seems to be. But we're not over yet. We're not over yet. Because we're looking at the left side and the right side over here. Okay? We understand the basic of how it is, but now we're going to see what's happening. So now we're going to see what's opposite of that card. And we're going to look at that one. So let's see on the left side. The Six of Cups. Yeah, see, it still represents Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. So this is on the left side. On the right side, we have the Ten of Wands. So this right here represents Leo, Aries, Sagittarius. So now you know that this is how it seems to be. Now we have a creative situation. Why? Because this is like almost like a story dialogue, right? So this is how everything is. Now you know that how you can process about the way that I just described this as being having your happy happiness. You have right. You have your balance, and you have your worry, right? Because you worry about a situation, you're missing opportunity. Okay, you worry about that. And this is not over yet, right? I always keep saying it, it's not over yet. So we know exactly how it is, right? This is how it seems to be for that one. But now we gotta know exactly how it is. What's opposite of that Six of Cups? The Nine of Cups. See? Now you know that you have everything that you have, right? See how you have a balance between the two, right? You have the left side, the right side, right? That's how it seems to be. So you now know that it's Scorpio against Leo, or if it's the opposite, right? This is how it seems to be. So now you know exactly how it is. So what's the opposite of the Ten of Wands? Let's look at it is the Ten of Earth. A very happy family life, financial security, finding magic in the little things in life. That's how it seems to be for that one. So that represents Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. So now you know exactly how that well balanced is. Now you know exactly what's happening. You believe about what's going on. You believe about that way of how that scenario is, right? And I'm not trying to cry on camera, no, but in the way of this, you have to balance, right? You have to balance. You have to know exactly how it is, and you believe about that way of how it is. You know that way. You know that you probably were out of character, but in the way of how it is, it's almost like you're acting, right? And in the way of how it is, you have to subscribe to what's happening, describing your own situation about what's happening, right? So that's how it seems to be, but we're not over yet. We have the oracle cards that we're going to do. I have one of the oracle cards that we're going to do, but this is how it seems to be. Now we know about this big, huge middle here. We don't know what the middle is. We have the left, we have the right. We don't know what the middle is in this little small section here. We don't know. But now we know exactly how we're going to put these oracle cards to see what's happening. So we're going to see the royal U. Okay, that's how it seems to be for that one, right? So you have that way. And this one you have body and soul. That's how it seems to be for that one, right? So you know exactly how your body is and your soul is. The royal you, yeah, you know how it is, right? So now you know that this is how it seems to be. So now we know exactly how it is. So now we're going to look at the back of not at the back of the cards, but we're going to see, as we know, and understand about what's happening because we don't know what's the opposite of the oracle cards here. So, the Three of Earth. The power of creativity, recognition for very high quality work. Be a team player. You know exactly how that is, right? So now we know that it's Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. There are things that you must learn first, you know, because when you decide about having that time frame of seeing your friends and you know your friends are having great time chatting with each other, having a good time. But for me, it's very different, right? It's the way of how you can believe about what's happening. And you know, it's very out of character to understand about what's going on, you know? There's always a time frame. There's always a significant way of how it is. And you must remember, you must considering the following. Considering your options, considering about making new friends rather than having the same ones all the time. It's you have your own opportunity where you look at things for a different way, a different angle, you know, because when you sit at a table by yourself, yes, it's lonely, but you know, whenever you get your coffee, for example, you know, you have your food, you have your coffee, that's fine. But when you're sitting alone and there's lots of people who are looking at the person like me, for example, means that they feel sorry for that friend who has nobody to hang out with, nobody to play cards with, nobody. Because they don't want to see that person to be alone. You get me? Yeah. So you know that way of how to understand, of how the way of how it is. Because in other words, you need to remember that things cannot go another person's way. They can't. Because you need to step back, you need to leave, or you need to say, I can't do this anymore. And that's how it is. You remember about that basic, you remember about how it is. Rather than just to say this is a very welcoming known of how everything is. You believe about how everything is. You believe about this is very disrupting. And you know how everything kind of is. I'm not trying to be sad on camera. I'm not trying to be angry at the camera. I'm not trying to be angry at my viewers. No, I'm telling you about my day. I know that when this video is premiering, I know that you guys can comment it if you want. Give the video a like. But you understand that when you have a feeling and you have a gut feeling that tells you you can't be with your friends anymore, or you did something that they want you to come and visit them, but you chose not to. Or their table is all busy, 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 and you don't want to sit with them. So you have that basically of how everything is. It's combination. You have the combined, you have the contrast, you have the compromise. You look at things where you want to go rather than just sit here and do nothing. That's how it seems to be. You need to acknowledge, you need to have that well balanced, that way of how everything is. You must remember how everything seems to be. You believe about that. You believe on how everything is. Everything changes for a reason. That's how it is, right? So you believe how everything is, right? So now we know exactly how it is. So now we believe that when everything seems to be like this, now we know exactly why we have reverse cards for, right? So now we know exactly how this is, but this is not over yet. This is going to get bigger and bigger because now we know exactly how everything is. I never did a reading like this before, but in a way of how it is, what's the opposite of the Queen of Earth? So we're going to I'll do 2 cards here of the Queen of Earth. So I have the Four of Wands reversed. Oh boy. And then you have the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, see? Right? So now you have, right? If you're not married, if you're married, you're married. But for this card when it's reversed, you're not married. You have no victory on your side right now. Right? So now you know exactly how that is. This is a very sequent reading. Just gonna do a half of these cards. I shuffle. So I know what's the opposite of that. What's the opposite of the Nine of Cups? And the Knight of Air is intelligent, decisive, idealistic, tireless. Events that occur with great speed. Take time to carefully review your options. Creative solutions. This is how it is, right? So now you know that this is Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So now you know everything that is very inbound this situation, right? Because when you have that way of telling you that there's something wrong, and you must remember that whenever you decide and conquer your own situation, that's how it is. You believe about that system. So let's see how it is. So what's the opposite of, let's see, the Four of Wands reversed? And what's the opposite of the Knight of Pentacles reversed? So now we know, the Four of Wands is upright. See how the Four of Wands is reversed here? Now it's upright, right? So then you know, and the Ace of Wands reversed. See? See how it is? Yeah, you believe about that conquering way of how it is. You know exactly how it is. This is not a new beginning. This is far from over. But this is how it is. This is how it remains. Because in order to that situation, you believe about how that is. Because normally, this is a very significant reading. Okay? Because This is almost like a big, huge puzzle. And I normally don't do puzzles, but this is huge. Because you know why? When I'm telling you about my day to every viewer who likes to watch my videos, you understand about how that is. It's a trigger because you get angry, you get annoyed, agitation, like agitate, you know, avoid, ignoring. It's all about angry, arguments, conflicts, don't get along, you know. You see that way. You see that way of how everything believes to be unwise. Knowing about how unrealistic, knowing about how everything is not going where you're supposed to be. That's how it is. That's how when it's very annoying and it's out of character, you understand how everything is. This is how this reading keeps getting bigger, bigger, and bigger. That's how frustration is getting bigger, bigger, bigger. But if you slowly continue to release the anger and go slowly, then everything will become back to normal. But it's not. It's not that formative way. It's not that how different it seems. You know about how that is. You know how that way of how you can do it. Because believe me, sitting at a cafe shop all by yourself and have no one to be at a table with you, it's actually disgusting. Because you're sitting there, there's no one to, to say, hi, how are you? Nothing. Nothing. It's out of character. You know? This is how the reading is. This is how everything is. We're almost done. So you have that way of how that is. So now you know exactly how it seems to be. Now we know exactly how everything is. So we have to look at the bottoms of the tarot situation. Then we have to know this, and then this is going to be a good reading so far. So the first one, see, you have the Two of Swords is upright. See, you have the Two of Swords that's upright. You have the Ace of Cups is upright. You have the Page of Swords is upright. You have the Four of Cups is upright, right? So you have, and then you have the Ten of Cups that you have everything back, and then you have the Seven of Swords reversed. So you have all these things. So I'll put them where they were. So the Ten of Pentacles is upright. The Four of Cups, right? The Page of Swords is upright. The Ace of Cups is like almost like a new beginning, and the Two of Swords because you don't know which direction you're going to take, left or right. So that's how it is for that one. At the bottom of this deck, this situation, see, you have the Hermit is upright, you have the Nine of Water upright, you have the Ten of Air is upright, you have the Six of Fire is upright, you have the Lovers that's upright, you have the Dreamer that's upright, and the Moon, and then you have the Empress and whatnot. So this is how it is. You believe about how it is, you understand how it is. I don't know why I keep saying that. But right? Because you believe about, if there's air signs, if there's water signs, if there's fire signs, this is how it is. This is how it keeps getting bigger and bigger, bigger. Do you see how it goes? Yes, right? And what's the bottom of this situation here? See, you have the Knight of Pentacles is upright, you have the Six of Wands reversed, so I'm just going to do that. The Six of, okay, the Six of Wands reversed. And what's the opposite of, okay, so the Six of Cups is upright. Okay, so I'll put that there. So you know exactly how that is. Now we know exactly that situation, right? Because we know, like, this is very, very, very fair-fetched on how it seems to be. Because now you know how frustration it is. It's how frustrating and how understanding about what's going on, right? It's the way of how you can feel, the way how you act, the way how you can center yourself, and you believe about how it is. It's almost our character, but you believe about what's going on. So let's see what's the opposite of the Six of Wands reversed. So let's see how this is. The Six of Water. Memories from your history or childhood. Issues regarding children, romanticizing the past. That's just how it seems to be, okay? Because it represents Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer. So, in a way, this is how it's going to be. Because you must remember that this is way, way our character now. It's way our character because you believe about what's happening, you believe about what's going on, and when you see that in your own eyes, you can picture it. And because you're picturing about you're picturing the happiness, you're picturing the balance, and you're picturing the worry. So now you understand what's happening with that. Okay, now we know exactly what's happening through this way. So it's not going to be a long video, but this is how it is. So we're going to figure out what's the opposite of the happiness, the balance, and the worry. So we have guilt. I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. Yep. What's the opposite of balance? Growth. I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. And last one about worry, what's the opposite? Discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. Yes, that's a very interesting way because now you know exactly how it is. You believe about how this remains. And this is why it's kind of out of character. right? Because you believe that if this was a huge entire Scorpio reading, you know exactly how very vague it is, very out of character, very unwise decision, unwise choice. Because you know exactly how it is. You know that way of how you can do it. So we know about what's happening. I'll see what's going on with the oracle cards. So see what's the opposite of this one between the balance and the growth. Beautiful, un un ungagging, unchanging, un uncaging. Yeah, beautiful, uncaging. All right, so we have that one as well. Okay. What's opposite of the worry and what's opposite of happiness and guilt? This one's for worry and and discipline is it is what it is. Ah, yeah. And what's opposite of happy and guilt? Healing the heart. Aha. Yes, it is. Right? Because you believe about that. It seems to be that. Okay, and Holy Spirit, what card do you want me to read for Scorpio to explain about my day to my viewers out there? Forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. Yeah, exactly. Forgiveness. Because that's just how it seems to be for that one. You believe about this is way out of character, way out of out of balance, out of necessary. Also sort of guilt and happiness or guilt and worry. Friendship. I understand that a friend is my life for a reason. Aha, that's a good one too. And this one over here, empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. Aha, this is a good one too, because now it's time to understand empathy, forgiveness, and friendship. I do have a friendship, I do have a forgiveness, but empathy is one way I can consider my options because this is how it is. So I'm going to read you the empathy, and I'm just gonna go what the soul is telling me. It is all right. So it says empathy of this card right here. I'm gonna read. I open to seeing both sides of a situation. It says you don't truly understand others. Motivation if you haven't lived their lives and seen the world through their eyes. It's so easy to judge another's behavior, match up against your own, label it as right or wrong. But you are missing an important part of the equation. The other person's history and personal past. We're all sparks of the divine with a purpose here in the physical dimension, and we can all exert our free will. Some of us have lost our way along the path to love. It is a human reaction to judge others before examining their journey through their eyes and with passion. Your job is not to judge, your job is to love and understand. That's how it seems to be, right? Because, it's kind of like that way of how you're seeing both sides of it. of a situation, good or bad. And that's how it seems to be for that one. But, this is not the way I expected, because in the way of how everything is, you believe about this huge entire way, this way of, our character, ignorant, annoying, um, unacceptable. You have that way. And you believe about how everything is. You understand that this is a way of personification, or it's a way of being in character, but you're not being in character. And when you're looking at two sides of a situation, I personally do, because whenever whenever I'm going to say this, I say there are two sides of a story, of seeing both of a situation, both sides of a situation. What I mean by that is that I'm seeing two. One is that friends slash being alone. You want to be alone because your friends are busy, and that's how it is. Secondly, if you're alone, what's the point of being there, right? What's the point of being there? Because this is the whole entire truth, but the truth. Because you believe that if you have empathy, forgiveness, friendship, this is how it remains. This is how it is a no-go show. It's not. Because when you believe about how it is, this is a way of how truth, how accepting, how well balanced it is. But if you're worried, if you have happiness, if you're balanced, and then you have empathy, forgiveness, friendship, guilt, growth, you have that way. Because whenever you decide about how everything is, even if you have discipline, you know exactly how this well fitting, this well pizzazz, this whole entire reading is. Because if this happens to all of you, if it happens to all of you, and you're sitting at, at this coffee shop, yeah, you see how it is. Because when you're sitting and you have nothing to do, what's the point of being there? What's the point? So think about this. Think about before you give this a video like, or give it a comment, to see if you're feeling the same way as I'm feeling. Does your friends make you to see you being alone and feeling sad for that friend? That's a question. So, before I let you all go, that's the question. Look at your friends and ask them this question. Do you feel sad for that friend to be sitting alone at a table? And then you see that friend to storm off. Think about that. Okay? So, thank you very much. Have a good day to all. And give this video a like, give it a comment, and I'll see you next time when I see you. Because this is how it is. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye for now. Really.